the summer back. I now look to the Treasurer, Arjun Bhardwaj, Corpus Christi College, to deliver the first speech against the motion.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to begin by thanking the President for giving me the opportunity to speak in this historic debate and commend him and the rest of the committee for putting together a fantastic term card. Throughout the course of the evening, you'll be treated to a barrage of invective from the proposition, but I ask that you do not forget the actual debate at hand. If the proposition is saying that they have no confidence in the government, the burden is upon them still to come up with a viable alternative, for if not, the proposition quickly lapses into a lamentation about the irrecoverable state of society, and we are simply left none the wiser, just like after a 9 a.m. tutorial. So, while they may be spurred on by the old adage that attack is the best form of defence, in not presenting a suitable alternative, they will fail to address the motion at hand. Furthermore, let's not forget that while we are not actually in the Commons, despite the presence of distinguished MPs and dispatch boxes donated by Churchill, we are actually debating a parliamentary motion. You will no doubt recall what happened on January 16th, 2019, when Jeremy Corbyn's motion of no confidence was defeated. And I look forward to a similar outcome tonight.
On your own.
In framing this debate in such terms, my argument tonight will seek to strike a balance between presenting the reasons why I have confidence in the current government, while also questioning where a suitable opposition can be found. And I suspect that such a search will be as successful as the President's prelim exams. Among all the reasons why I have confidence in the government, in the interest of time, I've chosen to discuss three main points tonight. Firstly, the government's vaccination rollout has been an undeniable success and has enabled us to be here in the chamber tonight when millions of students around the world are stuck behind computer screens with online learning. Secondly, I'll discuss the implications of the UK-Australia free trade deal and how it radiates strength in the post-Brexit world, paving the way for other important deals. Finally...
I've got information.
No, thank you. Finally, perhaps the annoyance of my colleagues here, I'll praise the government's plan for a record £36 billion investment in the NHS, and note how it has not torn the party asunder. This will provide a neat segue into my treatment of the opposition, the Labour Party, and their shambolic party conference that saw infighting about internal rules and squabbling among senior leaders at a time when their party members were crying out for some real opposition to the government. How can Sir Keir Starmer lead the whole country when he cannot even lead his own party? Ladies and gentlemen, before I begin my argument proper, it falls upon me to introduce the proposition speakers. You've just heard from Amber Warner-Wall, Chair of the Consultative Committee and a third-year English student from Regent's Park College. Is that the college? Yeah. Amber has been undoubtedly one of the hardest working members of the committee and is responsible for the production of most of the events this term. I'm glad to see Amber returning to her debating roots tonight and arguing for something that she does not actually believe in. The Right Honourable Nick Thomas Simmons MP will be the second to propose the motion. He's a Labour MP for Torvine and has served as Shadow Home Secretary since 2020. After enjoying an impressive career, it is clear that Nick has earned his appointment, and that has nothing to do with him studying at St Edmund Hall, which his party leader did too. Next to propose the motion will be Layla Moran MP, who's the MP for Oxford West and Abingdon, and Liberal Democrat spokesperson for Foreign Affairs and International Development. I have no doubt that she'll be more successful tonight than she was in her party's leadership elections last year. Finally, you'll hear from Wes Streeting, Labour MP for Ilford North, and he served as Shadow Secretary for State for Child Poverty from earlier this year. Regardless of what side you vote for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure we would all vote no to Mr. Streeting's idea that Sir Keir Starmer should be the next James Bond. Mr. President, these are your guests, and they're most welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, we are truly lucky to be sat in this chamber tonight, when around the world, millions of students are unable to attend in-person classes or lectures. What separates us, say, from our American friends, is that our government implemented a highly effective vaccination rollout plan that comfortably surpassed our European neighbours and most of the world. The government acted quickly and decisively to sign in-principle agreements with 4 vaccine providers and secured close to 400 million doses. By February, the NHS had already administered over 10 million doses, which accounted for 15% of the UK. At that time, only 3 countries had administered more doses per capita. Now, close to 70% of our population is fully vaccinated, and let us not forget that the vaccine has been made readily available to essentially all age groups. So the rate is not even higher simply due to personal choice, not due to a lack of supplies or organisation. Moreover, the NHS vaccine booking system held firm, unlike countries such as Germany, whose online systems encountered numerous failures. Let's not forget then, ladies and gentlemen, that regardless of which door you walk out of tonight, you only have that privilege because of this government's vaccine success. Now, to my second point, I would like to consider the implications of the UK-Australia free trade deal and how it sets a brilliant precedent for many other important agreements. The proposition tonight may seek to try and turn this into a Brexit debate, but let's not forget that alia jacta est, the die is cast, and now the question is how we shape our own future. I could talk extensively about the economic benefits that the UK-Australia free trade deal presents, such as how over £4 billion of UK exports are no longer subject to tariffs. I could also mention the 3.5 million people that work in the car, confectionery, and alcohol industries that will benefit from selling their products at lower prices. Perhaps most appealing to the student audience is that you'll soon be able to purchase your beloved Hardy's and Jacob's Creek wine at an even cheaper price. More pressing, though, is the idea that this deal shows what Britain can achieve as a sovereign trading nation. It paves the way for us to join the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is a £9 trillion free trade area that will be growing rapidly in the following years. Talks of the Trans-Pacific Partnership are ongoing, and free trade deal discussions with India are set to begin later this year. Ladies and gentlemen, at the risk of sounding a bit like Donald Trump, I have to say, though, that this is a great deal, and I have confidence that more will follow. Finally, as someone who defended the NHS in a debate earlier this year, I ought to discuss the government's £36 billion investment in the NHS. I appreciate that the increase in taxes may cause some on my bench to feel uneasy, but it is seemingly a necessary evil to give the NHS the support it needs after being underfunded for years. Again, ladies and gentlemen, do not think that this is a debate about previous Conservative governments, the sort of which were responsible for its lack of funding, but remember that this is a debate about the current government, and there is no doubt that this, one of the largest investments in the NHS, is an important milestone achieved by the government. This will result in tackling COVID backlogs, cutting waiting times, and increasing NHS capacity to 110% of planned activity levels by 2023-24, offering more appointments, more treatments, and more operations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you'll no doubt note that this decision may have been controversial within the Conservative Party, but it did not lead to anarchy and discord. And speaking of anarchy, let's talk about the Labour Party. The Labour Party is distracted and divided at a time when their members are crying out for some real opposition to the government. Instead of focusing on holding the government to account for fuel shortages, the main focus of the Labour Party conference was to change their internal voting system. This surely betrays a complete lack of prioritisation within the party, and more pressingly, Sir Keir Starmer was unable to actually pass the original changes he wanted. Instead, a watered-down version, subject to an immense amount of internal debate still, narrowly passed, and it attracted a huge amount of dissent within the party. Moreover, Sir Keir Starmer can't even control his own leadership. Angela Rayner's comment, Tory scum, invoked a huge amount of, again, internal debate within the party. Sir Keir Starmer said he didn't agree with her choice of words and said that he'd be speaking to her in private. This triggered some sort of meltdown within the party, with Labour MPs coming out publicly in either support or expressing frustration at the comments. Ladies and gentlemen, this is clearly not a party that is focused or united. Their members have been hoping for them to be a suitable opposition for this government, but in reality, you have to accept that this is a party divided. Sir Keir Starmer cannot control his party, and we most certainly would not be able to control this country. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to oppose this motion tonight. Thank you.